Hello, that's Brutus. Behind Brutus is the Developer Diary for zones and signature buildings for City Skylines 2. And I'm here with my beautiful Twitch chat today to read through it and go through all of my notes about all of the things that I think they're saying behind the scenes. Even these pages that are blank right here. Yep, these pages too. We're gonna go through all of them. I hope you're well, YouTube. Sit back, relax. Please, if you enjoy this style of, I don't know, insight style video, give the video a thumbs up. It tells YouTube that you like it, which tells me that you like it, which tells me to keep doing it all the way until September. So let's get into it. It's me again, YouTube. Yeah, I would be an excellent vlogger. All right, so I've got mine written down. My notes are written down as like a page by page basis because I'm reading this in a PDF viewer. So we got page 1 of 19. For perspective, last week's Dev Diary was 16 pages long. So, and every, like all the previous 3 were shorter than this. So we've got quite a lot to get through. Fun setup. All right, page 1. Oh, yes. I don't have much written down for page 1. This page is all very much things that we like know. They talk about how the zones are the meat fleshing out the city. I am curious how much longer they are going to continue like the body synonyms, parallels, because we've got bones and arteries, zones are the meat. What's going to be the brain? Gang, what is analogy? What is the brain of the city in City Skylines? Your budget panel? Maybe? I don't know. I will be the brain. The player. Oh, yeah. Wait, that's actually the answer, isn't it? It is definitely just the player. For sure. Oh, goodness. And then the only other thing I wanted to point out here was the way they describe the paint tool. The paint tool makes it possible to create very specific zoned areas, painting one cell at a time. Want to create separate 2x2 residential zones with the paint tool, you can. I mean, that's true, but you can also just do that with the marquee tool, unless I am understanding the paint tool and the marquee tool incorrectly. But like, think about CS1. You just have the marquee and you just go over like a 2x2 selection. And then you just, so here's your 2x2 selection, right? So then you just skip a cell and then do another 2x2 selection. I think that's what they mean. So, you know, it's fun. It's fun. Okay, page 2 is where we get into the notes. We've got some good notes happening here. Let's see. Oh, dezoning simplified. So dezoning is no longer a separate tool, as you can dezone any zone type by pressing the right mouse button. I don't know about you guys, but I like literally never used the dezone actual tool in City Skylines 1. I always just right clicked because that option works in CS1. So I'm very happy for them to be simplifying the GUI. I think that's delightful. It would be cool if you could draw your lines and paint within the zone. What's a use case for that, games? What is a use case for that that we can't currently accomplish easily? I feel like you could kind of just accomplish that with a marquee tool. So they're saying there's a new way to permanently separate neighboring zoning cells. Maybe, maybe. Okay. With the dezoning simplified section, I'm very glad that they are like continually over a few Dev Diaries now, they're continuing to dedicate time and like programming spending to a cleaner GUI. And I appreciate that. So this here, I'm really curious about you guys. Oh, I see, games. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Having the zoning and the districts talk to each other in some sort of like facet. Interesting. Sometimes old zones reviewed. Yes, Outfrost. I know exactly what you're talking about. I experienced that quite a bit when I was doing my like 1x1 square zoning only city. It was very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I would assume that that is a bug, and I would assume that many bugs, you would hope that they wouldn't like carry over from one game to another, considering it's a brand new game, right? If we're just following a path of logic. I'm curious if anybody talks about this. Changing the zone type is also easier and faster, as it no longer requires you to first oh, this is a typo. First de-zone the previous zone type before adding the new one. I think some folks are excited about this. I am a little nervous about it because I feel like I could very easily accidentally, you know, I'm going to zone my commercial and there's residential nearby that's already grown in and done, right? And what if I just like absolutely or accidentally fat thumb it? Is it gonna then automatically tear down that residential like it would in CS1 if you de-zoned, rezoned kind of thing? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I feel like for this one, it's probably just going to be one of those things that CS1 players are going to have to get used to. I suspect once we have 1,000 hours in City Skylines 2, we'll get used to these things that are like a similar gameplay mechanic as CS1, but like implemented in a different way, or like just a different input button or whatever method. We're going to have to just reprogram our brains, right? Yes, my fingers also click things where I shouldn't, where they don't want to, or I don't want them to. They also grow legs and run away. These fingers are wild. Sometimes you want to fill an unzoned gap with a new zone type. Gonna have to go slower now. Yeah, I think we'll just have to get used to it probably, right? Yes, and yeah, to speak to what Azark is saying, like when we do speed runs, we zone high density commercial office and we put them all in those places, and then we just go over top the entire thing with residential. And it sounds like that will not be possible with this. So speedrun changes. Let's see. Oh, in here they talk about how you can have both North American and European themes in the same city. And we see pictures of those, either pictures of those or it's in the video, one of the two. We see the visual at some point. Where when you're doing certain things, you can choose to have like North American houses right beside European houses, which I like. This new way probably helps with how many zone subtypes there are. Yeah. Oh, and so they do say here that the theme of the city, when you're first starting a new city, you do have to choose North American or European. And that choice that you make when you first start a city dictates the building's visual style, street markings, roadside props, as well as the look of service vehicles. So I think having the street markings, roadside props, and service vehicles, like, I think that they had to draw a line somewhere. Captain Crunch, welcome. To make the zoning toggleable or choiceable or whatever within a city. And I think having it be at like the road level and road markings level is a good place to draw a line. It's a good place for simplicity, is my opinion. Yeah. No confusing citizens by making some roads left hand and some roads right hand. I believe that's what they're saying. I do believe that's what they're saying. I'm not positive on that, but sorry, I'm just trying to read. All right, so page three. This is cool. So it shows you exactly what I was saying before, right? North American left row houses to the European houses here. So yeah, you can see them side by side, and this is the same city. This isn't, it actually kind of looks like one of those pictures that is just spliced down the middle, but it's not. I don't think it is. No, it's not. You can see they overlap. They absolutely overlap. So here we go. Yes. So what are we doing here? Residential zone types have more than doubled, featuring 6 different zone types to create more diverse and realistic cities. The familiar zones are still available. Low density housing with detached houses and high density housing with tall residential towers. Oh yes, these are what we're familiar with from CS1. Low density, high density. Done. Got it. Here's where I understand things. The new types are medium density row housing, which this calls this row houses, right? So we could probably assume medium density row housing. And medium density housing that is apartment buildings. Cool. But I would assume not tall residential tower type apartment buildings. You would assume like a regular apartment building that I see in my small town. Mixed housing, which people are pretty excited about, and low rent housing with large apartment buildings housing lots of small apartments. What I thought I would say about this page is they could have stopped at 3. Like, I think Colossal Order, if they're making City Skylines 2, CS2, they could have stopped at low density, high density, medium density if they wanted. Maybe mixed density to really, not concede, but to really like give the community what they want. But they, instead of 3 or 4, they went 6, which just is another example. And I think it matches up with the previous examples that we've seen in the previous Dev Diaries, that they're not half-assing this in any way. You know, they're not stopping at, okay, here, we've given the community what they want, we're done. They give the community what they want, and then they figure out what else they can also add to it. In whatever order that happens in, I don't know, but yeah, it's cool. I love this screenshot. I love the different colors. Yes, for sure, Outfrost. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Page 4. Oh, this, I think, is the beginning. And there's a lot of this with the Dev Diary yet still to come, like this same Dev Diary, but we're about to be diving into like just how much more is simulated in this game. The TLDR of this paragraph is that having a big living space is good for the citizens. They prefer to have a larger living space than a smaller one, but also having a shared rent with other people in a building is good because it costs them less money rather than being the sole family in a house, which is what our low density residential is. Hello, Renash and Usman. I see you guys talking about having like different styles of mixed use zoning. I wonder, and I'm not a coder, I'm not a mod maker person, but I wonder if because they've implemented what they have implemented, you would think mods would then be able to pull from that. I always want to call it API, but that's not what it's called. Be able to pull from that development code stuff and make something else happen. You would hope. And I wonder if that is the case, then maybe they chose to keep it simple for people who are just playing the video game and they're kind of like new or fresh or just want a more casual experience or whatever. Yeah, us filthy casuals. And then they understood, because we know how close Colossal Order is with their mods, mod makers and their workshop community and stuff, right? Maybe they just had that in mind, that modders would kind of take up the mantle with the more really complicated things. For sure, Peanut. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. I appreciate that. JBMF is a mod, and I guess you could say I made him a mod. So you know what? To heck with it. I'm a mod maker. I'm a mod maker. You're hardly a casual. Okay, but I appreciate the game in a casual way. I know that I have many hours in the game, and obviously I'm a keener, but I feel like I do still play the game as though I am a filthy casual. If you put me beside Canadian Moose, for example, he's a keener and I'm a filthy casual. And there's nothing wrong with either of those things. I just, yeah, I don't know. I just always align myself with the filthy casual brain mindset. Oh, and then, so mixed housing, they do specify somewhere here. They say that it occupies medium residential housing and commercial, right? So that means that we have 3 medium density residential options. We have the row housing, we have the mixed use housing, and we have the like apartment buildings ones is what they called it. So we've got lots of options for mixed density, which is pretty neato. Oh yeah, Jay, I like that. Thanks. Okay, look at this. So cool. So cool. Yeah, and especially with how many things are simulated I'm gonna call it in the back end with these zoning types. Like, we're gonna get into it, but I don't know if you guys read what offices do in this video game, like the services that they, or the products, I guess, that they take in and then put out, and then it gets sold to commercial, but then the commercial takes it and changes it into something else and sells it to the residential. Like, each zoning type just seems to do so much more in this game than they had done in CS1. And so I can see, like, if they had to do every combination 6 ways from Sunday, the back end of it would be bonkers, and then would be potentially really difficult for the video game player to balance their demands and their needs and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I only have, you know, X number of hours, right? Maybe I'm still like rose tinted glasses. Maybe I'm still really dewy-eyed about it. And maybe in 4 months, I'll be like, man, I wish. It's quite possible. I'm not gonna say that that is impossible. So the first thing I wrote down about this page was that garbage bin right there looks really familiar. Oh, and look at this. This is a dog, so his name is Brutus. This dog right here, his name is Brutus, and he's in the game. But yeah, that bin is from, like, it looks like it's the same one from, I think it's from Park Life, isn't it? My tea is done. I had 2 teas today, and they were both an Earl Grey tea. Usually I switch it up, but yeah, two Earl Grey teas. Moving on to water. Yeah, this looks really cool. Let me get to here. So what else did I write down? Oh, they say here that commercial zones provide citizens with leisure options in the form of restaurants, blah, 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 blah. Tea, Earl Grey, hot, close. Tea, Earl Grey, room temperature, baby. That's my preference, personally. But yeah, so they specify that commercial does leisure satisfaction, I guess, for citizens, which we apparently had in CS1. I remember reading that in the wiki in CS1, but in CS1, I always really struggled to like make use of that knowledge, you know? So I wonder if that'll be different in CS2. They say that commercial zones thrive close to residential areas, which makes a lot of sense. They need their customers. How many of us have sat there in CS1 with the problem bubble that's like not enough customers or whatever? And later on, either in the dev diary or in the video, it talks about info views showing you when you're going to zone, showing you where would be good or bad. So I assume that comes into play. I'm not Picard. No, absolutely not. How dare you insinuate such a thing? This stuff here, I believe is all fairly similar to CS1, like the high density, low density, and the differences between them and stuff. And they're all like very common sense things. So my insight into this is that Colossal Order is not making changes for change's sake, which is good. They are certainly, we've seen them demonstrate their ability to like make changes where necessary or whatever, but they're not just switching things up because they want something new and shiny. They're keeping consistency when consistency makes sense. Seta, nicely done. Nicely done. All right, page 6. Page 6. We got us some gas stations. What's the price of gas? Oh, this type of gas station is the type where you would be working the till and you would have approximately 7,497 customers make the joke about how the price isn't on the sign, so that means it's free, right? And then you would be espresso. But yeah, that's cool. Very, very cool. I love the car models and stuff. I don't know. It's cool to look at screenshots of this. That's one thing I haven't done yet, is I haven't really played around with photo mode. I tried for like 30 seconds and then got distracted because I wanted to go play the game. So I haven't really like taken screenshots and like looked at my city through screenshots. But that joke was cool back in 1984. Haven't gotten FOMO. I've just taken screenshots? No. Okay, where are we at? Reminding us that commerce and industry close is good. Oh yeah, right here. Commercial businesses benefit from local manufacturing as they have quick access to the goods they're selling. Of course. So they're just reminding us that that relationship between commercial and industrial is symbiotic as well. Zoned in. Oh, okay, I gotta read my writing here. You know, it's so funny. I spend so many hours writing up these little lists and then I don't really remember them. Oh, yes. So this is like where a lot of things start to go, I wonder, for me with this game. So industrial zones are divided into manufacturing companies and warehouses. And the way that they describe this is that you are zoning it in, it grows in, and then it just is either a manufacturing plant, so like a factory, I guess, or a warehouse. And we will apparently touch on this later, according to my notes, with the commercial and offices too. But I'm curious if at any point we will get the level of detail of choice of being able to choose. I want this to be a factory. I want this to be a warehouse. I want this to be this type of commercial building. I want this to be this type of commercial building. It sounds like here that they just grow in and they become what they're going to become. And I think the kind of what you could read between the lines with that is that it's showing that they have a confidence in their programming, in their decisions, in their video game, that the game is going to provide you what makes sense to grow in, which I don't know. It's just an interesting difference in the two video games, because in CS1 you had to plop warehouses. I don't think regular orange zoning in CS1 had warehouses that function like that, right? So hello Amy and Ras, hello, good day. We're going over the City Skylines II Dev Diary, number 4, and we're on page 7 of the pages. So industrial zones manufacture goods from materials that are either transported from outside connections by delivery trucks or extracted and processed locally in specialized industrial areas. I'm really excited to see the specialized industrial areas in the video that we're going to watch after this, because it looks really cool. And if you've seen it, I would love you to express your excitement. Ooh, yeah, the pollution footprints would be cool. Just the supply chain aspect, like the management of the supply chain aspect would be cool. Yeah, it would be interesting. Nice, Amy! One of us. I love that for you. I love that. So here, Rocky, hello, I hope you're well. Hamps, hello. Lovely raid choice earlier. You're a delight. I just wanted to say, it sounds like here that the goods are either only from import or specialized industry. Whereas with PS1, with regular, like neutral orange zoning, you could get raw goods there. But this sounds like they have made the raw goods only specialized industrial areas, which is an interesting thing. I've written down, oh, I think this is me talking about my experience. Personally, I love how they have done specialized industry in Skylines II. It is definitely one of the things that like is a definite plus. It's fun to do mechanically. It's very satisfying to zone it the way that they have you zone it, which we'll see in the video. And it's just the way that you combo, the way that you choose where it goes has like a little bit of a difference. It's enough of a difference that your road layout might be slightly different to what you would do right now with, let's say, either zoned industry or like the industry's DLC in City Skylines 1. Doing zoned industry in CS2 or specialized industry in CS2 is like one of my favorite parts of boot the game. Really excited to boot it. I like it a lot. I would say Outfrost, mechanically, it feels like exactly what you've said. So visually, I would say no, almost. Visually, we'll see it in the video. Fail high. But mechanically, I think a hybrid is a really great way of describing it. Yeah. I've also written down saturation stuff. Look how much is simulated! Exclamation mark. The depth here is really exciting. Makes me feel like I'll stay in one city for longer. Yes. So they're talking about when you're exporting goods, if you have to export it outside the city, it will decrease the profit, because once they've sold to apparently like people who are near your city, they're gonna have an oversupply of it. So then they have to sell it to people who are further, and then they have to continue to sell it to people who are further. And it says simulating the eventual oversaturation of the market. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I say how much more is darn well simulated in this video game is very exciting to me. All right, Warner, best of luck, my love. We have, office zones. Oh yeah. This, oh God, things are crazy. I'm so excited about this. I'm really geeking out about this one. It's getting me very, very excited. It says that the office companies convert, so this is like purple pink zoning, convert technological goods from manufactured in industrial zones into software. So the office buildings require the resource, as far as this sounds like, and I haven't been able to like properly open up the game since seeing this and actually like really look at it. But it sounds like, this makes it sound like the office requires the goods from the industry first to be able to do all of these other things that they do. And that's pretty cool. That's like a further addition to the development chain, or to production chain, I think is the word I'm looking for, that I wouldn't have expected, but I like. I like it quite a bit. And it also makes the divide of having office and industry being separate zoning, rather than the one, like, or not zoning, but demand, sorry. It makes the demand divide make a lot of sense. Yeah, or I'm curious, because it says converts technological goods manufactured in the industrial zones. Are those going to be shipped? Probably. Okay. Let's see, page 8. Yeah, just this software stuff is really, really cool. I tried to draw a diagram of like a flow chart of this in Paint. And I'm not gonna show it because I don't want it to be wrong. But it's like the way that these two paragraphs here describe it is like it goes from, where am I? It goes from industry first, and then those manufactured goods go to an office building, right? And then that office building converts them into software. And so software can be like anything, right? When we're trying to relate it to the real world, it's just any processing system that you use on your computer at work, to make things, happen at work. So then they take that software and they turn it into immaterial goods, which they break down into three subcategories here. So they say that media gets sold directly to people down here. So the media is sold to your residents, which is like your green residential people. So it's sold to them directly, and that's it. And it's like video games and movies and whatever. Consumer electronics, yeah, media. But telecom and finance, the way that they describe them is that they're good for both the industrial and office sectors as they provide various goods. However, software in itself isn't sold to private customers. So the other goods like telecom and finance have a wider reach as private customers also benefit from them. So private customers is the residential, is the civilians, citizens, whatever. But then who is the also, right? And so it sounds like the also is industrial and office. So it sounds like office sells their stuff to offices, to industry, so that industry can use their software to do industrial things, and then also to residents, which is so cool. So neat. So very cool. I love that. I love that. So then I've had zoning suit info view. Cool. Rest. Cool. Oh, okay. So that's this. Hello, Cuddles. We're going over the dev diary. So it says each zone type has a zoning suitability info view, which activates when you start zoning. And it will show you pertinent information about which areas are suitable for that zoning type, which is great. Outfrost, the only type of mixed use zoning that they have talked about is commercial and medium density residential. So that is what I can tell you. Moving on, page 9. Have a sip of water, gang. Luckily for you, Cuddles, if you're so keen, you can check out my second YouTube channel, youtube.com/@toad2, TWO. And this will be posted there. And hey, Toad2, if you've made it this far into the video, approximately half an hour into the video, let me know in the comments below that you're still here, and say hi to Cuddles. I think that's only the polite thing to do at this point, is say hello to Cuddles. You know. All right, page 9. Excuse me, sorry. There are 19 pages, so we're just getting to halfway or whatever. However, that 0.5 stuff works. That weird math stuff, right? Love for cuddles, yeah. So this is crazy. I don't know. Does anybody think this is crazy? This is crazy. But I say something about the info view. Oh, I just wanted to say that this info view, like in general, the economy tab, oh, maybe it's not exactly this one. Oh, it's not exactly this one. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna say what I thought I was gonna say. The economy info view, where you like specify adjusting your taxes, is where I have very much spent the most time, like slowing down, reading the information in front of me and trying to do something with it. If any of you guys know me, you know neurodiversity. I just see a lot of text and I just go whoop, and I just stop reading and I don't care and I just try to play the video game without reading the text. But the economy panel, the one where you adjust your taxes and stuff, so interesting, so cool to filter through there and pick out things and try to extrapolate information and then adjust things to further do stuff with that information. So I like it a lot. It's very fun. This stuff up here talks about how taxes can be used to favor, spelled favor wrong, different goods and products. Wait, can I highlight things? How could I do that? Oh, I'm getting that ready for next week. That's happening next week. Can be used to favor different goods and products manufacturing in the city, or simply give a helping hand to fledgling industries. So I think we can make some points of notice here. Fledgling industries. So if you have an industry that is a startup, it sounds like you can do something with the taxes that will help that industry thrive. And that is really cool. Super cool. Yeah, I don't know. This stuff is I think way more important than they've allotted text to it for. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry. I don't know what I just put on screen there. Please hold. I think it said stuff about Canada. Now you guys know. The secret's out. The secret is out. I am Canadian. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you had to learn this way, but we tried. All right, what else do I have on this page? Oh, something that something that I thought, what's that about? Future About merch is coming. It is on my list. Where does it say? Let me just see. Is this still page 9? It is. Where? Okay. All right. Okay, it doesn't seem to say it on this page. Or does it show it in here? No. Okay, never mind. Carry on. Cuddles. Oh, I think I've... Oh, it just says right here. Oh, I'm a total goober. It's the very first sentence on the entire page. Yeah, 11. I definitely exacerbate the accent. It's not a natural thing. That's why you'll often hear me just say about. But then I started saying it a whole bunch, and then it did become natural for me specifically. But there's nobody around here who says a boot. I know, right, Remage? So the other thing that I thought maybe was worth mentioning on this page is that adjusting taxes for the different education levels. So I've tried to be really transparent and stuff. Hi, Yed. I try not to like just be kissing Colossal Order's ass all the time and stuff, right? And talk about things that maybe I go, And this one is kind of a for me. I don't know what the benefit is, and there very well could be one, but I don't know why the decision was made to adjust taxes based on education levels rather than on wealth. And because like I want to tax the rich, right? Who doesn't? And you could insinuate wealthy people are higher educated. And when I've been playing, you know, that makes sense. But I don't know, I'm really curious why they chose education levels rather than wealth as the direct relation for the taxes. I don't know. There must be a reason, but I don't know. Makes me think. Makes me wonder. Thanks, Jay. It's very kind of you. Yes, Cuddles, absolutely. Very much East Coast accent exacerbated for sure. And then I wrote down for the residential demand section, I just wrote down cool. This all makes total sense. So we're here, page 10. Does anybody see what I see? I had a lot of comments, and by a lot, I mean 2 comments on my YouTube video asking about what it looks like when people zone in. And there is a demonstration of what we can assume that is. Yeah, actually, that's a really good point, eh? About not being able to simulate it in the real world. This is the longest dev diary yet. Yep, absolutely. Page 10. My notes are mostly just cool. And then the last sentence here talks about that commerce does still equal the Sims spending their leisure time in it. So yeah, cool screenshot. This stuff is all just really logical and the way that we would think the game would work. So I don't think I'm gonna like really dive into them. Yeah. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, look it. I love this screenshot. What cool looking buildings. Oh, this one's called, furniture. All right. But yeah, these just look really neat. Hand a hammer, and interior design. But yeah, I just wanted to like actually really look at these. And I say this, do I say this here or do I say it elsewhere? I think I have it written down to talk about elsewhere, but looking at like the windows, it looks like there's a room in there. You know, it looks cool. Like it looks like they've got little visual rooms. I think it just looks really neat. All right, Cuddles, enjoy. Yes, I will. Absolutely. I will. You think that's an attempt to simulate real world taxation in a way that's not too complex for the game? In the real world, local governments give tax breaks to the kind of development they want, sometimes handpicking specific types of work and employment. But if I think I understand what you're saying. But if I like go and get a university degree, I don't automatically pay more taxes or less taxes. And even like, I don't know, for us, our taxes, and this is just the Canadian way, I genuinely don't know how it works anywhere else in the world. But our taxes are just based on income level. So I pay X amount to the government for every amount of dollars that I earn. And then once I get to a higher tax bracket, on that higher amount only, I pay additional tax per dollar or whatever. But then you could argue that the higher paying jobs in theory, are occupied by highly educated people, right? Doctors, lawyers, but not always. I would say there's probably some CEO folks out there with a high school diploma only or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Speaking of deer, hello, good day. Where are we? This is page 11. Page 11. I've got a lot written down for this. Oh, so right here, talk about eat the rich. When companies have the needed employees to fill the required positions, their profitability increases. Do you hear that? Employers, do you hear that? Whoever would have thought that hiring enough people to keep your company afloat equals profit? Anyways, that's me on my soapbox for the day. America offers 2 different tax credits while in school and 1 after. Oh, you know, JJ, there is also, yeah, you can get like student loans here. That's a point. That's definitely a point. So it's maybe not like a direct, because I'm a student, I'm taxed this way, but like because I'm a student, I have X options available to me way. And just like services available, like social services available and stuff. Yeah, interesting. I appreciate you guys kind of like opening my eyes to what that could mean. Magician, get out. Get out. For the record. So the other thing that I thought, there's a couple things that I think are really fun on this page. They talk about how the demand can be further increased by the availability of local resource extraction by specialized industries. So to put this in fewer words, it sounds like if there are specialized industry resources available on the map, demand will go up for industry, which is really neat. I have no idea if that's how that works in CS1. I don't think it is, but it's just a really neat concept. It makes me think, between like this mention of it and my own experience playing. I've had a couple cities now, I think like 3, that have gotten anywhere far. I think you will rarely have a city that you will not make use of the natural resources available to you. I can't really imagine building a city in CS2 and not making use of the natural resources. I don't know. And I think it might be a fun challenge to do it, but I think it would require a lot of additional thinking and working around and stuff. Enjoy, Renash. Page 12. They talk about needing warehouses here, but they are growable. So again, relying on the game for them. All right, where is that? Let's see. Manufacturing also benefits from having local warehouses to store produced goods and products. So the manufacturing benefits from having warehouses. Manufacturing is industry zoning, and warehouses are industry zoning. So does industry zoning benefit industry zoning and therefore like a cycle? Or is that their way of balancing out which of the 2 types of the orange industry zoning will grow in? Yeah. Marathon, enjoy. Good day. But what I've just rambled on about kind of means a little bit more organicness to each city. So like I mentioned earlier, that it sounds like we won't have the ability to pinpoint, I want this type of, like I want a warehouse to grow in here. I want a factory to grow in here. And similar with like the different types of commercial that we saw them talking about, which I actually think I agree with as a choice for like the base game for us filthy casuals because it's going to introduce more organic growth with the programming deciding that rather than us humans, just finding a combo that works like a tried and true placement method of these different style of buildings and then just placing it over and over in each city. So I think it's a good idea. I do. Moving on to 13. Look at this pretty screenshot. This is great. This is not from my city. That's for sure. Right? No, it's not. This is not. I think this is still New Dollarton. But it's just so nice. They talk about here, depending on the age range of the customers, different types of immaterial goods are preferred. And I wonder if through the options available to us, do we have a way of affecting the age range of customers? Or is that just something that kind of happens naturally as you build a city and as it grows and such? Yeah, I would hope so, Magician. And I would assume so, right? Like, they know how it works in CS1. They know that sometimes it's not great. Why would they leave it like that? Is just my logic. I don't know. Reading this was mind-blowing to me. I had no idea that this was a thing. Cool. I've got it written down that specialization sounds like a whole thing, but it feels like it needs to be shown somewhere in an info view to be viable. At least, like, you know how right now in CS1 in plazas and pomegranates, if you're using it as a zone, it will just show you like how much office you have zoned versus commercial versus residential. Because in plazas and pomegranates, there's kind of specialization there of just the zoning types. So if we had that type of info view just about the city, so we could visually see somewhere, are we beginning to specialize in an area? But yeah, this sounds wild. This is a totally new thing. And it sounds really interesting. Sounds very, very interesting. And this is me like really dreaming, totally dreaming. I am looking at you with all sincerity. I have no knowledge of anything like this even being close to being on the table. But my dream would be that, say I have a city save and I'm kind of like done with that city, and let's say it specializes in financial software or whatever it ends up kind of being. It says types of goods. So let's just say software in general. So say my first city save specializes in software. That leads really kindly into having a second city that maybe doesn't have enough software being produced in it. Can I like link up my two city saves somehow to talk to each other and get stuff from each other if they have specialized in it, for example? I think limiting it into only things like having the save files only talk to each other for things that they specialize in would be a great way to keep it simple. And definitely would only be optional. I know a lot of folks don't want their cities to talk to each other, but I just feel like that was the first thing I thought of when I saw that there's a way to have your city specialize in a certain type of goods. I was like, okay, well then can I have 5 cities that specialize in 5 different types of goods and have them ship those goods to each other? Please, I beg of you. It'd be so cool. It would be so cool. Here we go. Another screenshot. Zooming in on this photo, it talks about, it shows land value and it shows building land value. And I want to know what the difference is. What's the difference? I mean, I know one is obviously the actual building and one is the actual land, but what is the value of separating these visually? Although I guess here, this is white, so it has low land value, but it does have both high and low building value there, so maybe there is a way to really figure it out. And there's these buildings, I think these are like pink. So maybe these are low building value for some reason, above the high value land. So I'm curious why that is. Very curious why that is. Yeah, Renash, yeah. You can poach workers from a neighbor city. Something like that. Building could be abandoned. Yep. Yeah, it could be, we get, down here, we start talking about rent and stuff. Maybe the people who live there can't afford their rent or whatever. Rent is a whole ball game. I love that down here, right here, it's important to note that simply plopping all city services into a neighborhood doesn't increase the land value in the area automatically. What I see when I read this sentence is them acknowledging that in City Skylines, you could quite simply plop all city services into a neighborhood, and then bam, you're maxing out your land value and like the levels of your buildings. And so this is them very directly telling us, not going to be that easy this time around. I am a fan of that decision. My experience is that the land value and the rent balancing is actually a bit of a challenge. There are, mind you, I also didn't have a lot of this information spelled out so explicitly for me. So that could very well be part of it. But I have found that they are actually a bit of a challenge, which I again think is a positive. Group, hello, good day. You hated the amount the spaces services take up? Yeah, that's fair, Renash, yeah. Housing bubble popped. All right, page 15. We're getting there, gang, we're getting there. There's a fly in my office and it's bugging me. Okay, quick segue. YouTube, you gotta hold on for this. I promise you, it's a good story. It's a very quick story. My cat, his name is Friend. I saw him right there yesterday, but he was by my trombone. It all happened at my trombone. There was a fly on the ground who was already like 3/4 dead. I'm sorry, little fly. I wish you the best peaceful afterlife. But he was just twitching there, and I saw a Friend bat it against the wall, so it hit the baseboard there, and it kind of bounced off a little bit, and then I saw a Friend eat it. I've never actually witnessed my cat eat a fly, but he did. He picked it up, he put it in his mouth, and then it was no longer there. So I do poorly 11, yes. I played it when I was like a teenager or whatever, and so now I can still do my scale, but other than that, it's on my list of things to get better at. Outfrost says the building land value could be useful for low rent apartment buildings existing in otherwise high value areas. Yes, bridging wealth gaps, absolutely. Warner, did you? That's fun. I'm proud. I am proud. What are we doing here? So I've got written down, demand affecting land value is interesting. Will it do it so much that it will be bad? Right, I remember where I was going with this. To just like leave the game running. So it says here, high demand for a specific zone type can also increase the rent and thus also the land value. So I don't know about you guys, but like while I'm detailing, if my money per week is in a positive, if I'm making a profit, I'll leave the game running just on speed 1 usually, but I'll leave the game running so that I kind of accumulate some wealth. And this makes me wonder, should I not be doing that? Because by doing that, if I've got a residential demand, for example, and I just let the game run and don't satisfy that demand, am I driving up the land value, which then drives up the rent, which then my Sims can't afford? I don't know. I have a sneaky suspicion that there might be some of that in play, which is interesting. Yeah. I like that they discuss in this paragraph lowering the land value, or as they are putting it, keeping it in check. Because in my experience, they're gonna need it. We're gonna need that ability. Because it's just, it's something that has popped up because I've been playing City Skylines 2 as a City Skylines 1 player and just going with the information that I know from CS1. And in doing so, I'm encountering these new, I'm going to call them problems, but it's not problems in a bad way. It's problems in a game difficulty curve way. And so we're going to need to be able to implement some of these things. So limiting the number of services, and that sort of thing. A policy option to ban landlords. I second that. I mean, just, you're only allowed to own 2 houses, or, you know, all of these solutions that we want in the real world. Oh, yes. Then down here, there's a big buzzword, and then they don't even touch on it any further. Some will even move out of the city. The building will start to deteriorate as no money is used for its upkeep. The residents then move out in greater numbers and the building becomes abandoned. Abandoned buildings can become occupied by homeless citizens. And then they just don't talk about homeless citizens anymore. Trying to put my experience on this, I think it says something that this is my first time really understanding that there are homeless citizens. It's not something that has yet come across to me in my gameplay. Maybe that's because I've been playing well and haven't had situations get that bad or something. But it hasn't been a huge part of my gameplay yet. So I'm curious if it will be. It will be. Carrying on. Another gorgeous screenshot. So we have them saying here, so this is all still land value, rent. Low income families live in high density housing because their rent is shared with everybody else in the building. Fine. Yes. Yeah, Outfrost. Yeah, I like that it has the differences there. They say here that companies will use land value as part of their decision for where they're going to move. And just the way that they say partially there harkens back to when we learned about the Sims pathfinding and about how that was like a weighted calculation with all of these different factors in mind. It sounds like maybe that's the case here, which again, today I think my theme of my understanding of this dev diary is like all of these crazy things that are simulated in the background. That's part of it. It just seems like there's so many factors into so many different parts of this video game that I'm all very, very excited about. What else have I written down here? Page is mostly informative, no secret insights. That's what I've written down for this page. This is all just like them giving us information that you can read. And I don't have any like, you know, I think this means this. Razor, I hope you're good. However, I do think this is an absolutely beautiful screenshot. Look at this building. I only just noticed that now. That looks like a one-off building, eh? Oh, that's a water tower. Hail bubble on a stick. Cool. Very cool stuff. It's just a beautiful, beautiful screenshot. Nice little pool back here. I assume that's a greenhouse or a brown house. Yeah, it's good. Same, Seta. Same. We are at page 17. 3 more to go, my friends. So this page talks about what happens when buildings level up. And it seems as though they have given incentive to have the buildings, like have us make the area around it good enough to have the building level up, because it says that for like residential, the electricity and water consumption decreases as the buildings level up. The same thing with commercial buildings. So it seems as though there's a definite benefit to having the buildings level up, right? Which incentivizes us to work with the city to make them level up, which potentially, it sounds like, incentivizes us to put our city in a place where it's challenging to manage because of all of the stuff that we just read about land value and rent. I assume if your building is level 5, probably good land value there, probably a higher rent, which makes it difficult because then they might not be able to afford it and then they move out and stuff. And it's like just this whole circle, cylinder sphere of like balance of all of that sort of thing. Where am I? Page 17. Yeah. What is this saying? The last bit of commerce, possible feedback loop. This one. Oh, The Sims choosing high-level commercial companies over other options. I wonder if there's a feedback loop there. If citizens, now, like, let's take this to an extreme, right? If the citizens only shop at commercial buildings that are higher level, then how can the commercial buildings that are at a lower level up? Because I would think that having customers is part of their level up calculation. Probably, right? But you know, I don't know that for a fact. But I would guess that this is balanced. Just, I don't know, stuck out to me as a point to discuss. Poor mom and pop stores. I know, right. Yes, for sure, magician, yeah. The 12-dimensional cube of balance. Yes, the D12 of balance. I love that in the manufacturing buildings, like in the industry buildings, or I guess it's both. It's office and industry. The higher level has less garbage and pollution as the benefit. I love that benefit. Yes, for less pollution, because, you know, you generally have to build around pollution so that you don't kill people with poisoned ground. So, yeah. Down here, so I did a cheeky little peek at Reddit. I've been trying not to use Reddit lately. But I saw someone mention on Reddit that they did not like the fact that these signature buildings are free. I'm curious if you guys who are here on Twitch right now, like, have an opinion about them being free or not. I actually did like it, but I wonder if that's just my general optimism about CS2 and being like a total keener for the series. I think that they, like, when you compare them to unique buildings in CS1, unique buildings costing so much money in CS1 and not really, oh, I just jumped because of a fly, not really having a benefit to putting them down. I just never really used them, but so signature buildings, you can think of them similar to unique buildings in City Skylines 1, but they satisfy the RICO in your city. So they satisfy demand. So if you put down a like residential style signature building, it will satisfy residential need, and it looks cool, and it has other benefits. So you'll see in a screenshot or in the video, maybe it's like plus happiness in a radius of this amount, or plus education for university or something. Don't quote me on those. I'm just, you know, trying to remember what they say. I think it's in the video that we'll see that. but you can only place them once. Yeah, I can't answer the maintenance cost question because I don't think it's answered in this dev diary. But I agree with your statement, Magician. I agree with that statement for sure. JJ says free should mean there's effort to get them, which means something. It would depend on how the economy works. Yeah, fair. You do have to unlock them, right? It says in here, each building has their own unlock requirements, like the Sculptor Mansion having to reach a progression milestone, get a specific happiness level, and having a number of cells zoned. So I think, I mean, I'm not really passionate about the cost, I guess. Like, if it suddenly changed tomorrow that they did have a cost, I wouldn't riot about it. I was just surprised to see that that was something that somebody was passionate about, I guess. Passionate enough to make a comment on Reddit, anyways. Yeah. Does it? Yeah. And you guys have so much more insight than I do to back to the old SimCity games, because I never watched or I never played them. And the half hour that I did play them for YouTube, I don't think was enough to form opinions, right? Page 18. So these are literally ploppable Ryko, but unique. I think, oh yeah, something I thought about these whole signature building things is similar to the mixed use zoning. I'm excited for them, for the modders and the asset creators and that sort of thing. Because we have this functionality now to have a unique building that consumes Ryko demand and provides benefits to your city. That's cool. Think of all of the different unique buildings that people could make. And then if you want to get into asset creation, you only have to make one building rather than making like a whole slew of like a housing pack, for example. So you learn on your first unique building or something like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the asset creators do with this one. For sure. For sure, for sure. But clearly their time is over. Fair. Fair. And that's all I was going to say for this page. They have some really nice screenshots here showing off the different unique buildings. Was this a Big Bites burger place like CS1? Oh no, it's called Little something. Okay, never mind. Carry on. Carry on. But yeah, just really nice looking buildings. As is more akin to the normal Ryko buildings, yes, than a monument, yes. Yes, yes, for sure. Okay, page 19. Yeah, they say here, they talk here about them having positive effects to the city. So they range from a setting to affecting neighborhoods or citywide. Oh, here we can see, this is a screenshot of some of the effects. So happy, like good interest in university, good graduation chance. These three are all citywide, and then within 1 kilometer of this building, it has good well-being. So yeah, I think that's great. Yes, Outfrost. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then we can also see that they produce software from electronics. So I would assume that you get these electronics from the industry buildings, right? And then they're shipped, however, to this office. This is an office signature building. And then it produces software from it. Hello, Joe. I hope you are well. Yes. Yeah. Having it very clear what they are, how they're affecting your city is good, I think. And I think having the positive effects, having each of these buildings have positive effects makes the fact that you have to unlock it like worth it. I think that's a good balance there. And just provides additional like actual gameplay aspects to it. I think these are a very good example of how Colossal Order is making this game a sequel with like new gameplay and new mechanics and stuff, while still keeping the heart of what we knew and like grew to love in Skylines 1. They didn't just carry over unique buildings, bam, they're here just as they are. They brought two kind of things with unique buildings and Ryko, and really a mod that kind of every single one of us loved with ploppable Ryko, and they like amalgamated it into their own new thing as part of a new offering for this new game. You know, I think it was a good decision. Do you also need produce food to be sold? I don't think I can answer that question unless we have that question answered somewhere. And then this just talks about next week being the services. So I am going to really quick press YouTube. Thanks for holding, even though I don't think I told you we were holding, but we're now going to pause and unpause the zones and signature buildings feature highlights number 4. I'm very excited for this. So right off the hop, wait for it. Bam. I'm pausing here. Oh, also, I think this is like 240p. Can we, can I try this? Yes, we're doing slow because I want to be able to like pause well and stuff. Oh, good. Thank you, Jay, for informing the audience. Hello, Todd. Hello, good day. So right off the top, we see a helicopter that I think is, you know, something to note. We know that they exist in the video game in some facet. And the other thing here was just, it was this corner here. What do I have written down? Oh, just inside the building bottom right. Like it looks like there's rooms. I don't, you know, pretend to understand how that's done. I've heard that there are these things called shaders in a video game. Maybe that's that. But I don't know, I just want to point out it just looks cool. It just looks like they've got actual rooms inside the buildings. The detail is great. Interns working late, absolutely. The helicopter is very unsafe where it's located. You know, that is a point, eh? I guess if you consider offline world life, that elevator probably would not be flying so close inside these building areas. But I'm just gonna let it play out. I think you guys should be able to hear it. And I'm gonna pause again later.
Every decision you make weaves a thread into the fabric of your city.
Yeah.
But don't for a second imagine a smooth, seamless surface. Cities don't work like that.
That building's cool.
Instead, it's an urban patchwork marked by the realities of life and living.
Where do I want to pause? Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep my mouse on it.
Stitch it together with zoning.
I'm actually the worst.
Zoning lets you decide where people live and work.
Okay, question about that. Question about what we just saw. How do you guys feel? And YouTube, if you're still watching, please answer this as well. I'm so curious about people's thoughts. They show the colors changing. So you could assume these are different info views, right? And they show the colors changing for them, assumedly representing different statistics. But generally, the statistics you would think are mostly on like a good to bad scale or low to high or whatever. And they have chosen to use different colors to represent a lot of them. And you know what? When it's shown like this, like transitioned one into the other, it's actually kind of pleasing.
Zoning lets you decide where
to my eyes
live and work. You create,
but it's interesting, I think. There's some cool mapping going on with the lift rooms. Yeah. Next.
These residential, commercial, and industrial zones with zoning tools. They work in a couple of different ways.
I understand. In CS1, I used the
large rectangular areas.
Oh wait, one sec.
Zone all adjacent cells with one click. Or get granular.
Yeah, this is what they're calling painting.
Cell by cell.
In CS1, I always
when you establish a city.
Yeah, we should be talking about this too. I always used the toggleable whiteness mod. What's a zoning tool? I don't know if you're being facetious. These doobers. So, like you either fill, so you click the zoning area and then it just like, you know, colors everything within that chunk green or whatever, or the marquee selection, which is like rectangle corner to corner, or the whoop 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 whoop. Yeah, we're gonna pause on it for sure. Where's my mouse? Here it is. I lost my mouse.
Cell by cell.
Wait for it. Oh, we were so close. Okay, you guys go. You guys go at this. You tell me what makes you excited about this, because I'm not going to say anything. But I like the background, actually. I hadn't seen that yet. You were being facetious in honor of facetious, yeah. 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 That name exists there. And from what I understand, there are other video games by Paradox that have modding in them a lot. And those other video games do their modding through Paradox mods. But I don't know. Is that just a filler? Because this is also a beta version, or like a, well, actually, you know what? I don't know. We don't know. Down, you can't see it necessarily because Joe's lovely comment is over top of it. But in the YouTube video, you can see it says 1.0.0b, probably 2, I think that is. So you would assume this is still an earlier version of the game. Is it a placeholder? Is it actually representing what I think a lot of people are jumping to what it represents? Who knows? Who knows? The building detail in the background is really nice. Absolutely. 9.5. I'd be curious what the worry is. I'd be curious. But yeah, that's this. Oh, but you got a medieval castle. Who doesn't want a medieval castle? Yeah. Yeah. I like what Red Mage is saying. That's a valid point. Yeah, I mean, isn't that the whole thing? People getting the game like for free on Xbox or on Epic, saying that getting mods into it is impossible and stuff. So, ooh, Usman, yes. Or if in Minecraft, I always go back to Minecraft, the starting screen or whatever you call this, title screen, the background of it changes with each like game update. That could be pretty cool. Stuff like that. So I'm gonna keep going because where do I stop next? I don't remember.
When you establish,
we might as well stop here so we can look at this. Do we want my face out of the way for some of these? Yeah, maybe magician, maybe. But yeah, we've got 12 map options shown here anyways. We have the theme being shown per the map. We've got a climate being shown, which is pretty neat. And northern hemisphere, which makes me assume that there's probably also a southern hemisphere. Buildable area we're used to seeing. And then outside connections. We have 4 that we are used to seeing and 1 that we are not. So road, train, boat, plane, electricity, as well as the available natural resources. What strikes me with the natural resources is that, like, okay, so we can see that this map, which is Archipelago Haven, has 16 kilometer tons. Oh no, oh my God, 16,000 tons. But like, is that a lot? I don't know. I have no perspective of how much that is. And I guess that'll probably just come with time. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the latter magician. I think it's 234,000 tons.
City, you choose a map.
Do they click on another one? They do. Okay, so there's your southern hemisphere. Here's your different tonnage. North American. Jay. But yeah, they do just straight up have Tampere in here. Which is Tampere where Colossal Order is located? Or is it where Paradox is located? It's Colossal Order, right?
Building.
Colossal Order, yeah. Oh, maybe Red Mage. Yes. Yeah, that's cool, eh? That's cool. Here, this screen answers options for us. So behind the chat messages is just tutorials. Just include them or not include them, it looks like. But then here, you can randomize the city name, which is fun. I assume that's what the dice is. That's usually what those are. You can choose a theme. Left-hand traffic seems to be a per city basis, right? I wonder if you can choose like a North American theme, but left-hand traffic. But it shows us natural disasters is included. Great, cool. And unlock all and unlimited money we are used to. You can see down here, it says that selecting unlock all or unlimited money disables achievements, which is a decision that I personally agree with. So yeah. And it points out that there is no option that we are used to from CS1 of unlimited soil and unlimited resources. But does that mean that the resources are always unlimited, or does it mean that they are always limited? This is the question. Oh, good point out, Frost. I kind of always forget about hard mode because I never used hard mode ever. So, yeah, right? Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Things will have a North American or European architectural style. You can now use zoning tools.
A lot of this,
mix it up.
I'm not going to pause for.
Sprinkle a little North American flair into your European city, or vice versa. Okay, you know how zoning.
She said vice versa. Weird.
But what can you zone?
Or maybe I do.
Well, let's start with residential zones. The places and spaces where citizens relax with friends, raise families, and
the Finnish, that's the Finnish flag, isn't it?
There are now 6 residential zone types. 2 will be familiar.
Hard mode in CS1.
Low-density housing, detached houses for single families, and high-density housing.
It makes traffic not despawn. Isn't that? Oh, no, sorry. No. I'm thinking TMPE. Oh, I'm not on the camera anymore. I have to be here. I'm sorry.
And medium-density apartment buildings.
It makes you accrue money less?
Huge apartment
or something?
With tiny apartments.
It says it. When you hover over it,
Finally,
it says it.
There's mixed housing. Here, residents live in apartments above ground floor shops.
Oh, mixed-use zoning, yeah.
Adds next-level realism.
This is all just really pretty buildings.
Homes and shops rub elbows. Like
do you, dear? Okay, maybe it's just a location regional thing. Income is lower and expenses are higher. Yes, right. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah. So basically just less money to work with, which I mean is fair because like CS1 is incredibly easy to make money with, right? Here I just wanted to pause because her hair is hot pink, or their hair is hot pink. Cool. Just cool. Just neat. All right, carrying on. Oh, advertise here. Your company name here. I wonder if this is like, oh, and it has the same thing over here. Oh, this is actually really interesting. I wonder if this is what happens when buildings have like newly grown in and you don't have a business moved in yet, because they both have this like advertise here thing. Neat. Neato. Magician, I wish. With hard mode also comes the higher standard of citizens. Interesting. Interesting.
Ready to talk business?
Nope.
You'll create dedicated.
Oh, yo, hold on a second. There's lawn chairs like up top of this building. Guys, I don't get out there in the real world much. I don't know if that's ever become obvious in our interactions together. Would you ever see that like on top of an apartment building? Would you see people putting their chairs up there and vibing? It is? Okay. Okay, cool. Asked and answered. The only thing I've done up top a big building like that was one time I asked the business that was in there if I could go up top of their roof with my telescope to observe a astronomical event. It was an eclipse of some sort. I had to get welding glass and put it over top of my telescope. I forget which type of eclipse. Anyways, it was really cool. That's the only thing I've ever done up there. Hello, pizza. Hello, good day. You've been in student housing. You're on the roof with no guardrails barbecuing. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I'll continue. Where do I want to
Dedicated
stop next?
commercial zones,
207.
where companies sell the locally produced and imported goods people need and want. Your commercial zones are also where citizens and tourists eat out, catch the latest blockbuster, and dance until dawn.
I'll dance until dawn.
You'll establish
Oh.
industrial
Seta. Guys, this is very exciting. This is very exciting stuff. Yeah, looks so cool. Looks so cool. Wait, which hurricane? This, I don't know what she said here. I don't know what I can say. Hold on, let me listen.
You'll establish industrial zones with factories, workshops, and warehouses where businesses can store goods ready for distribution or export. You'll also develop office zones. Here you'll find small, low-density buildings with only a few businesses in operation. You'll also get the glittering, high-density towers that define your city's silhouette in the sky. Growing your city and zoning go
This building looks cool.
hand in hand. Here's an example. You zone residential areas that boost the population, and with it, the demand for jobs.
Right. Here, we've heard that it exists, Joe. And the only combo that has been mentioned either in the dev diary or in the video is commercial on the bottom and medium density residential, like apartments on top. That is what we know about. Oh, and it does work to satisfy both demands. So that's what we've heard about that. I'm gonna scooch my head. And okay. If you guys can see, I wanted to point this out as a demonstration of the, like, I don't think you call it landscaping, but you know when a building zones in, and the land either rises up to meet it or it sinks in or whatever. I feel like you can kind of see that here. And I just wanted to demonstrate what it looked like, because I know people have wondered about how that's going to be handled. So this is a demonstration of it. It's in the distance, and I think you will only get a real vision for it and an understanding of how good or bad you think it looks once you're in the game and can like whip your camera around to go in and out and kind of thing. But that's what you're looking for over there. Yeah. Whoop. All right.
You respond by creating an industrial zone with factories where people get to work.
Do we want to watch that 6 more times? Guys. All right, ready? Ready? I'm doing it again.
Jobs. You respond by creating an industrial zone with factories where people
Whip my camera back and forth. Whip my camera back and forth. That was what looked like. What? Oh, also, the company's name is Almost Meat. I love that. I love that. Precision Districts, yeah. And I've seen a lot of people say that it's reminiscent of City State 2. Was that right? Was that the one that they said this kind of feels like? So I've watched this. Oh wait, this is Rectanglo. Wait, this is my city. Oh my god, I literally didn't even clue into that. Hold on a second.
and with it, the demand for jobs. You respond
This is my
by
city.
creating an industrial zone with factories.
Hold
where
on. Okay,
people
let's just watch it.
Industrial zone with factories.
Ma'am. Neat. Neat. Yeah, it's really neat. I really like it. I remember building this. I can see this. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Um, that's you. I named this city after you guys. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, I really like this style. Um, hey, Joe! Nicely done, Joe. Nicely done. No, no, Todd. It's like a whole thing. I have been playing City Skylines 2 for about a month or so. Yes, I'm gonna keep going because we are recording for YouTube. So next up,
an industrial zone with factories where people get to work. Now, these factories
honestly,
produce goods.
yeah, this is just beautiful. I wrote down in my notes that I want to pause here and rewind because these two shots are just gorgeous. They're just beautiful. You get the, is this stuff ray tracing? I'm calling it ray tracing. But you get the sunset or sunrise, whatever it is. Oh, look at, you can see back here. But these are just really pretty shots. Jay, this is my city.
Where people get to work. Now,
lens flare, that's the one. God rays, yeah.
But they won't stay in business long without somewhere to sell them. You solve that problem by expanding commercial zones. You see? Each zone helps create the momentum you need to realize the city of your dreams. And it wouldn't be the city of your dreams without signature buildings. These are unique residential,
pretty cool looking,
commercial,
cool looking stuff.
And office
oh yeah, this.
That you
I wanted to replay this shot because it's just so pretty. It's just so darn pretty. Oh, is that Dutch style?
Commercial, industrial, and office.
You know what's funny, Outfrost? When I look at that, the memory that comes to me is the Tulip Festival in Ottawa. We used to go to that all the time. And when I think of tulips, I think of the Dutch. And I remember buildings, not actual full buildings, but like decorative buildings at this Tulip Festival in Ottawa, looking and feeling very Dutch. So when I see something that looks like this, it kind of harkens me back to that. Reminiscent of it, yeah. Jay, when I was playing the other day, I think I can say this. When I was playing the other day, I played through the day-night cycle on. To try it because like so many folks, I turned day-night cycle off in CS1. And for the most part, I was having a lot of fun with it. I think there's some kind of things that you might want more like brightness to be able to see more detail or whatever. When you're getting like finicky with things, but I played through it and it was fun.
Commercial, industrial, and office buildings.
But this shot.
Unlock as your city.
Oh, and somebody on the internet said these clouds are important. They called them something. I don't know why, but if you guys are smart at all, sorry, not that you're not smart if you don't know, but I don't know. Somebody pointed out that those clouds are good for some reason.
They're free to build.
Oh. Volumetric, I think that's the word. What does it mean? What does that mean, Basil? What does that mean? So I've got written down. Let me just listen to what she's saying here. One sec.
You unlock as your city expands. They're free to build, and you can plop them
I see it. I see what I wanted.
You can plop.
There. So here on this info view, you can see that ground pollution and air pollution are separate. There's separate statistics for when you're placing buildings, which I don't know if we knew that already, but it is something that I think is valuable to know. Oh, Outfrost! All right, well, thank you for the education. I appreciate that. Oh, no. 3D rendered. Oh, they have volume. Volumetric. Thanks, ma'am. Appreciate that. Yeah. So, yeah, just having the ground pollution and the air pollution be separate is worth noting. And this is a industry signature building that has bonuses for industry affecting stuff.
And you can plop them anywhere. Plop. It's City Skylines lingo. Go on, say it.
Jay, that would be real cool.
What's so special about signature buildings?
I don't know.
Well, they function like any zoned building.
Do they?
A home for people, a warehouse for industry, an office
So it
for
looks like,
workers.
because I think this is
A
still New
warehouse for
Dollarton. It
industry.
is. So going through
Function
these
like any zoned
info
building.
views,
A home for
it
people,
looks like
a warehouse for industry, an office for workers.
$2.20.
But
Use
they
these
can
signature buildings
elevate
quite
the
a bit.
neighborhood in
And I
unique
didn't find
ways.
myself using them
Signature
enough.
buildings can also bring citywide
But to be fair, I
benefits.
also haven't built as
Zone
big
and
of a city
place
as he
your
did.
signature buildings
I've actually kept my
carefully,
cities
so
pretty
each
small
city
so far,
district
but my
flourishes
goal now
and
is to
plays its
change
part
that
in
fact.
the success of the whole city. Life's rich tapestry has never been
Cool.
richer
And that's
than
it.
in City
That's the
Skylines
feature highlights video. YouTube, do as it says. Please subscribe for more. I appreciate you very, very much. And yeah, give the video a thumbs up so that I know if you want more of this stuff, YouTube. I think you're real swell. And you'll get a video on Friday of me playing. I think it's last week's Friday video. Oh, City Skylines challenges. So enjoy that. Goodbye, YouTube.